Hi everyone, in this video we're going to go over how to fix common performance issues on WordPress, and we're going to be using the GTmetrix tool as well to help us analyze all of the performance issues that could be affecting your WordPress website. GTmetrix is a really popular tool for analyzing site speed performance. To succeed online, you need to have a fast website, and you can check your site performance by using tools like GTmetrix. It works by analyzing your URL, and it'll show you various parameters that will help identify what's slowing down your site, and then you can then fix those issues. Improving your site speed will give you plenty of benefits, such as a higher position on the search engine results pages and a better chance to make your visitors stay longer. In this video, we'll go over everything that GTmetrix has to offer and how to analyze the results in the report that they make for you as well. So with GTmetrix, the way it works is that it'll provide you with a performance score and a report that shows the current state of your website as is, and then it'll give you some suggestions on what can be improved. It's a free tool to use, but there are some limitations to it. The premium versions of GTmetrix will is a bit more flexible, but there's still a lot that you can do with the free version, as we'll see today. Another thing worth mentioning is how GTmetrix incorporates results from Google PageSpeed's insights and YSlow to form the performance score and recommendations. That means you don't have to perform the tests on any other tools, since the results cover a wide spectrum of performance metrics and present them comprehensively. Before you run a speed performance test in GTmetrix, though, there's some factors that you need to consider. It's essential to make sure that the test results are accurate and relevant, and after all, the more accurate it is, the more precise the results will be, and you can make a better informed decision on what will actually help improving your website. The things that you need to consider are the number of tests. So it's not enough to do a one-time test, since the results might change based on the amount of traffic. Try repeating the test at different times of the day. Test locations is also important. So if you have a local audience, you might want to set the location of the test to the one that's nearest to your visitors. With GTmetrix, you can set what location-based server you want to test your site in. So if your audience is based in the UK, then you can choose a UK-based server to test your site with. If your audience is in Australia, then you can pick a server based in Australia to test your site with, and that will give you more accurate results. But if you target global audiences, then you should do the test with multiple regions around the globe and not just one. Test subjects are also really important, so testing multiple posts and pages for a better analysis. This will help find out better what part needs to be optimized. Keep in mind that the primary goal to optimize your website and your site is to improve the entire site's performance rather than just the performance score. So you have to take each suggestion on the report into account to decide what will make the largest, most positive impact. So when it comes to actually using GTmetrix, there's two ways. You can go online to gtmetrix.com and you'll see this page here, and all you need to do is essentially just enter the URL that you want to analyze and then just click test your site. So you can just paste in the URL, whatever that is, and then change your site and then test your site. As mentioned before, there's some customization options you can do, one of them being the testing location. By default, it'll test it using the Chrome browser in a server based in Canada. But what you want to do is click on change options, and then you can see all the options that you want to change. So if you want to change your options, you need to make sure that you have an account registered with them first. Again, setting up an account is free. All you need to do is go onto the website, click on get started for free, and type in your first name, last name, email, and a password. So now that you have your account registered, what you want to do is type in the name of the URL again, and then you want to go into analysis options, and you can see the different options that you have. So depending on what plan you're on, so obviously with the free plan, what we can do is change the test URL server. So right now we have, it's based in Canada, but we can change it to any one of these servers. and it'll give us an idea on how the performance is based on those locations, using different kind of mobile testing as well, and what kind of connections as well. So there's a lot of sort of customizations options that you can do. The advanced options are additional features that you can do sort of on your page as well. But once you've selected your location settings, everything like that, you want to click on Analyze, and GTmetrix will then analyze your URL and test it for all the different audits that they have, and then present you with a report and a score that you can use to kind of fix your website. So after your website is done analyzing, it'll give you a performance score and a report as well. And you can see the performance scores and the total load time that it took as well. And underneath that, you can see the 6 tabs covering different sections of the report, each consisting of different suggestions to improve your site as well. So things like your summary, a page speed, what performance, structure, waterfall, things like that. All of these are being analyzed. So when it comes to the summary and the page speed, so like the performance as well, this tab provides recommendations based on Google page speed insights, such as leverage browser caching, image dimensions, enabling keep alive, and minifying HTML. And you can see the overall page speed score in the performance scores box. You can see each of them here with the speed visualizations as well. The Y-Slow is similar to page speed. It also shows suggestions for improving speed, but it provides different solutions like making fewer HTTP requests, reducing DNS lookups, and using CDN. Waterfall, this tab basically, tab basically shows you how long each resources took to load. Examining this tab will offer lots of insights on which resources should be optimized. For example, if a certain image is taking too long to load, then you can use an image optimizer either on a plugin or even just a website to reduce the size, replace it, and then improve the loading score. The timing and the video of everything will show you, so this tab essentially will show you and the entire video process, so you can see which elements of the page took more time to load visually. You can also download the video if you want to document the site's performance on each test. You would need to enable video and then retest as well. Then you have history, and this tab shows the history of test results, and you can see the change in page load time, size, speed, and Y-Slow scores. The great thing about GTmetrix is that each tab that you have has this little question mark, or they have a little button that says learn how to improve this, and those basically will give you a little bit more information into what those audits actually mean. So if we were to click on this one, for example, and click on learn how to improve this, it'll take us to another page, to GTmetrix's own documentation that'll show you exactly what that audit is, what it's about, what triggers it, how does it affect your load time, things like that. And it's especially important for a beginner, because it just means then anything you're having trouble with, they have their own documentation to explain quite clearly what those tests mean and how you can improve. Some of them will have the include tests as well, and you can go through their documentation and go through all of these as well, to see exactly what the issue is and what they mean and how to fix it. You can see with analysis options, you have all these options here, and you can also do report filtering as well. So you can filter, if you have quite a number of reports, then you can filter by certain filter options as well. So that's using GTmetrix online, using their website, and this is again free to use and you can use it at any time. The other option is downloading the GTmetrix plugin. and adding it to your WordPress website, and that way you can test the site directly from your WordPress dashboard as opposed to going on the site over and over again, and you can monitor that site quite easily as well, over and over again if you needed to, which is a good idea as well. So to download the to add the GTmetrix plugin onto your site, what you want to do is log into the back end of your site and go onto your dashboard. Once you're on your dashboard, what you want to do is go into plugins. And then you want to click on add new. And in the search button, search plugins, you want to click into that and just search for GTmetrix, all one word. And you're looking for the GTmetrix for WordPress plugin by GTmetrix, and you just click on install now. And then just activate it. And you can see there's a new GTmetrix tab on the dashboard as well. So to set up your GTmetrix plugin, you just need to click into it, and you can see first thing you need to do is set up the authentication. So you need to have an API key to use the plugin. You can create a free account to get the API keys, as I showed you earlier. So the free account, if your account is on the free plan, then it will come with a limited number of requests per day. However, if you are using this on one website, then you're likely to never run out of credits for that. So what you want to do is, once you've created your free account, you want to go into the accounts dashboard on GTmetrix. So you're on GTmetrix now, and all you want to do is click on account. And you want to essentially go onto the API key here and just regenerate API keys, create new API keys basically. You want to just basically make an API key for each of your website basically. For each website you just get the one API key, so if you remove that, it does get deleted afterwards. So you want to copy that API key and go back to your website. And then you want to paste in the API key here, and then you want to type in the email account associated with that API key as well, and then you just want to click Save Changes to save all your changes. And you can see now you have a lot more options when you're on the settings page, and each of these options will help customize your testing and also the plugin on the dashboard. So things you can do is you can show the dashboard widgets. So if you're on the dashboard, there is a new widget for GTmetrix, sort of at the bottom. So it just means then you get an easier way to test your dashboard from the plugin. It might be a good idea to just tidy up your dashboard a little bit, but it just means as soon as you log in, you can just quickly test your front page. If you go back into settings to finish setting up, and then you can decide if you want to show GTmetrix on the toolbar, and then you can decide if you want to default your ad block status, so if you want to turn on ad block and see the difference the ad networks make on your blog. This is if you have a blog website that is going to be running a lot of blogs, you can see how that's affecting your performance. The next thing you want to test is the default location. So whenever you are testing your website, this will let you choose an overall location for your website. And again, you want to base this off where your target audience is. If they are based in London, then you want to, or if they're based in the UK, you want to pick a server that's closest to that as well. And again, if you're targeting global customers, then you would need to run a few tests on different servers every day. And then you want to set up the alerts email. So whenever a test is being run, or any kind of alerts that'll be made up from this from the plugin. Who should they be sent to? So you can decide who they should be sent to, whether it's your email or another user on your website. And then you want to set the front page of the URL. So this is just whenever you are testing the web port from the button on the dashboard. It'll use whatever URL that you set in the front page URL. And then you can sort of see what you want the widget to show. If you want to show page speed grade, why slow grade, show scores, things like that, and that'll be showing up on the and that'll show up on the dashboard. And you can also decide if you want to reset the test. So if you click on reset, it will flush all of GTmetrix records from the WordPress database. And then when you're done, you just want to click Save Changes. And that's all your changes saved. So next thing you want to do is go into tests, and this is where you can finally start testing your website. And you basically just want to type in the name of your domain, or type the title of the page or post, and you just want to do that here. And then you want to add a label for your reports. This can be any label. Performance report 1. This is optional, so the plugin will generate its own report name afterwards if you want it. And then decide if you want to block it with Ad Plus, or if you want a video associated with that. So you can have the video, but just to remind you that it will require 5 API credits. You can check how many API credits you have within a day, have every day on your account dashboard on GTmetrix. And then when you're done, you just want to click on Test URL Now. And you can see the score being generated as well. So you can retest your scores, you can see a detailed report, and you can see the sort of a brief summary of the load time, things like that, how many requests were made. And if you click on detailed report, it will bring you to a more detailed report on GTmetrix, and you can see a little bit more information on what is needed in terms of improvements and things like that. So the main difference is the same kind of information that you'll get if you were to use the WordPress, if you were to use the normal GTmetrix website. The only difference is just convenience. The installing the plugin will just mean then you can do the testing as soon as you log in, and you can do it from one dashboard instead of having to go into another website and do it there. It just means there is one more plugin added to your website though, so just to check that. The plugin itself is quite lightweight, so shouldn't affect too much of your load time, but it's just something to be aware of. If you're fine just using the normal GTmetrix website, then there's no need to kind of use the plugin. You can just always use the normal GTmetrix website. You can see in your account dashboard though, you can see how many credits that you have, and when your credits will reset. So they reset every day. And if you need more, you can always purchase them from GTmetrix.com. But again, if you're just using it to monitor the one site, then the amount of credits that they give you every day should be enough. You shouldn't really need to top up more or go to a pro plan. But you can just click on this button here to get more API credits, and pick one of the plans that they have instead. Another cool thing that you can do with the plugin though is you can schedule some tests. If you click on the Schedule tab here on the left underneath the GTmetrix tab, you can essentially set up scheduled tests. You can see with the report that we currently have, so if you click into it, you can see a more detailed version of it. The next thing you want to do then is click on schedule tests. And then you can set up how often you should schedule the test. So if you want the test to be hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, again, this just depends on how many credits that you will have every single day. We can run them daily and decide if you want to be emailed, or when you want it to be emailed. So if your page speed score is less than a certain grade, if the Y slow score is less than a certain grade, if it's greater than something, if page size is greater than something. So essentially, if it's hit a certain benchmark for a slow performing site, you can get email notifications, and you can add multiple different ones as well. If it's more than one, if you want to be notified for all of these, then you can. And then you want to set the status, so you can, if it's active, it'll always run. If it's paused, then it'll stop running. So instead of deleting the full schedule, you can just pause it for a little bit if you wanted to. And you can also pause it due to recurring failures as well. But then once you've set that up, you just want to click on save. And you can see when you go into schedule, this is our schedule test, and we can delete the schedule. We can pause the schedule even, and edit the actual schedule as well. If you wanted to edit it, you just click on edit the server, edit the event, and then decide when you're going to be running this test as well. So those are the main differences between using the GTmetrix WordPress plugin as opposed to the URL. But again, it's the same features on both. What you're really getting out of it is convenience, just having everything on one dashboard as opposed to a separate dashboard. As mentioned before, the GTmetrix has a free version that has a lot of features that you can use every single day. And get started with. But if you want, you can also go premium and get a lot more features. So if you go on to GTmetrix's pricing page, they have a plan. They have different plans for different kinds of businesses and different kinds of organizations. So obviously you have the free plan, and you get the different sort of the amount of weekly on-demand tests, daily API credits, data retention, things like that. They have the solo and starter and growth in the individual plan. So this is really for sites that you have here. And then you've got business plan. So you have plans for different kind of business types as well. Obviously the business plans are a little bit more expensive, but they come with a lot more features as well. Things like more monitored slots, a lot more daily API credits, hourly monitoring, things like that. And you can also decide on the plan terms. So if you want monthly plans or yearly plans, you'll see obviously it works out a lot cheaper if you were to go for a yearly plan. So you can save up to 15% on a yearly plan, both on the individual or the business as well. And all their pricing is in USD. You can see exactly what is included on every single plan. So it's really good if you have that as well. With their custom plans, it just it doesn't have any sort of starting prices or anything. It just means you can get in contact with them and set up a plan that will be really suited to your needs, as opposed to going for one of the plans that are already out there. This is especially useful if you have sites with very sort of complex functionality, more functionality that you needed, or if there's certain things that are offered within more expensive plans that you don't need, but there's certain things that you do need that only come with the more expensive plans, and these are just different ways to kind of get around that and add new and add different functionality to your site as well. You can see also in the pricing page they've got sort of frequently asked questions as well, but if there's more questions that you have, you can contact them. and get in touch with them mainly via email. So you'll submit a form and they'll be able to get in touch with you again afterwards through email. So some of the most common issues that are seen with WordPress websites, especially for performance, are things like avoiding enormous payload networks or properly sizing images or using compressed images. Images take a lot more time to load than text, so if a page has a lot of images, then it slows down your website. On the other hand, images are also really important for user engagement and you can't avoid them. So the solution is to use optimized WordPress plugins for optimizing images, and you can still use the same images but with a smaller file size. Smush is a really popular image optimization plugin. So they offer to optimize your images as soon as they're uploaded. They can bulk optimize images that are already on your website, and they can turn on lazy loading and resize compress with lossless compression, meaning that the image won't lose quality once they're being compressed. We have seen it improve Google page speeds and GTmetrix page speeds as well. It's incredibly powerful, and it's a free WordPress image smusher as well, so it's a really good one to have. The other option, if you don't want to add more plugins onto your site, what you can do is make sure the images are optimized first before uploading them to your site. Websites like TinyPNG are really fast, really easy to use, and it uses smart lossy compression techniques to reduce the size of your files, whether they're WebP, PNG, or JPEG, and they basically will compress your images, and it just means then when you're uploading the images to your site, they're already compressed, and you don't need to worry about installing any third-party plugins to optimize them for you. Generally, it is better to optimize images first before adding them to your website, but you can also add plugins to your website to optimize them later. TinyPNG is a free version, is free to use, but you can also use applications like Photoshop that come with a feature that allows you to save images for specifically for web in web formats, so that's already compressed for you. Photoshop obviously is a paid tool, and TinyPNG is just a little bit is cheaper, but completely free to use as well. Other issues that can have a negative effect on your performance is gzip compression, and making sure gzip compression is enabled. So it's to do with your file size essentially. So file size and types of your files can affect the overall load time of a site, since the browser needs to load different file types like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. To solve that problem, you can try using gzip compression, and you can check whether your site enabled it by using the small SEO's check gzip compression tool. So it's this tool here. You just go into the website, type in the URL, and just check if it's been compressed. If your site doesn't have gzip compression enabled, you can turn it on by modifying the htaccess file. You just need to go to the public HTML directory of your site with an FTP client like FileZilla, or by using your cPanel on your hosting compression as well. It can also depend on your hosting provider. Certain hosting providers like Hostinger uses Lightspeed for hosted WordPress websites, and they have gzip enabled by default. So check with your hosting provider first, see if they can enable it for you if it's not already enabled, and if not, it may be some manual work on your part as well. You can also install a plugin like WP Fastest Cache, and the free version of that allows you to enable gzip compression in just a few clicks. Some other issues that tends to come up are things like minifying JavaScript and CSS. So minifying CSS, JavaScript, and HTML is another way to improve your loading time. It just removes unnecessary characters in each file, like white space characters or new line characters. You can try minifying web files by using tools like Minify Code. Copy the original code from GTmetrix, which can be found in the minifying suggestion. Paste the original code to the minification tool to get the optimized results. Then copy it and overwrite the original text in your site's directory. And you can do that with any kind of file manager or FTP client. You also need to make sure that you are using good hosting for your WordPress website. So if you are using a low quality WordPress hosting provider, then there's not much you can do to improve the performance of your website. Some recommendations for WordPress hosting is, for example, Bluehost. Bluehost is an officially recommended WordPress hosting provider. They have really good prices and it comes with built-in caching as well. So you can see there's lots of things you can improve upon if you have a tool like GTmetrix to kind of point out those issues for you. GTmetrix, again, is really easy to use, very user-friendly, and there's loads of documentation out there as well to use it as well. A lot of issues that come up in GTmetrix can be easily fixed through some plugins or image optimizations, things like that. It's just important that you are constantly testing your site, checking for any new issues, checking for any last lingering issues, and making sure that they're getting sorted as soon as possible. Where possible, try and get your hosting provider to help. But other than that, everything else is a little bit more straightforward to fix anyway. So when it comes to the issues that come up on GTmetrix, there's a few common ones that come up time and time again that can be easily fixed with either some code or some plugins as well. One of them that comes up time and time again is to avoid an excessive DOM size. So what that means is when there are too many DOM nodes, so HTML tags essentially on your page, or when they're nested too deep. And this causes the user's browser to consume lots of additional power to process your web page, and that leads to slow loading pages and low page speed scores overall. There's a lot of things that can contribute to this. If you've added superficial CSS3 animations or any JavaScript widgets to your website, it might be experiencing the effects of a large DOM size. A lot of website owners, including e-commerce store owners, need to prepare their sites for the Google Page Experience update, as it's a factor in DOM size as a ranking signal. So the way DOM works is that when your web browser starts preparing a page display, it generates an object tree diagram of all the page elements according to its HTML structure. It's structured similar to this, but essentially as a result, whenever it sees an HTML file, it begins by converting it into a tree-structured form called a DOM or a DOM tree, and you can access the DOM and modify it using JavaScript. Some key terms relating to DOM are nodes, which essentially each element in the DOM is called a node or a leaf in the DOM tree. Then you have the depth, and this is the number of elements in a branch of a DOM is called a depth. And then you have the child element, and this is the last node which doesn't branch any further, and that's called the child element. So excessive DOM sizes means that you have lots of these lots of these nodes that have a large number, that has a high depth, and the child element is all the way at the very bottom. Excessive DOM sizes causes increased memory usage, a delay in style processing, and creates really costly layout flows. So modifying the DOM objects gives you control over what page elements you want to show your user. You will come across the error of avoid an excessive DOM size if there are over 1,500 nodes in total, and there are more than 1,500 HTML elements on your web page. You've reached a maximum node depth greater than 32 nodes, so an element is nested in 32 or more parent elements, and if a parent node with greater than 60 child nodes exist, so if there are more than 60 children elements in a parent element, then that will also trigger the avoid an excessive DOM size warning. It doesn't directly affect Lighthouse metrics, but pages with a large DOM can load fast, but usually they don't. Poorly coded plugins or themes, DOM nodes produced by JavaScript, page builders as well are all usual causes of what causes an excessive DOM size warning. And it's because bloated code can increase the size of your HTML, which delays the time required to download your web page. And excessive DOM negatively impacts rendering performance, and as a result the user's browsers will do additional computations on first load, as well as every time the user or a script interacts with your web page. Web browsers also consume more memory when processing the DOM via JavaScript. So every time the page loads, the web browser has to download that page, parse the HTML before it can start generating the DOM tree. So in order to fix this, you first need to identify what's actually causing it. So you can find out the maximum DOM depth and maximum child elements using Lighthouse, and then you'll have to do some searching using your web browser's DOM inspector and check out the DOM. So essentially, if you go into inspect, you can see in the expect elements how big the depth is for a certain element, and where you can sort of reduce that depth as well. You don't want to use any poorly coded plugins or themes. You may be using a plugin like a calendar plugin or slider plugin, even page builder plugins, and these create a large number of DOM nodes. In this case, you can simply replace it with a more optimized plugin. Similarly, poorly coded themes and templates can also negatively impact your website's performance, and you can fix this by getting rid of bloated code in your website by using a streamlined editor or modifying parts of your template. As mentioned before, page builders do generate a lot of bloated HTML. They can sometimes produce bloated code with an excessive number of DOM nodes, but they are often a really integral part of your workflow, so it makes it difficult to just simply remove them. But there are some page builders out there that are quite optimized and are aware of this problem, but they have solutions for it. So for example, Elementor is one of them. Elementor does create additional HTML tags which do increase the DOM size, but the developers behind Elementor have made a lot of strides recently with the DOM improvements to reduce the bloat. If you do use the Elementor plugin, what you want to do is go into the plugin settings at the back end, and you're looking for the Elementor settings under the experiments tab, and you're looking for the experiment under optimized DOM output. So what you want to do, it's inactive by default, but you want to switch that to active, and we've noticed a lot of improvements after the DOM to the DOM warning once that's been active as well. Poor quality themes directly impact the DOM size, so we recommend that you use a performance optimized themes like Shoptimizer. Most page builders inject too many div tabs, and you can avoid inserting unnecessary elements using streamlined solutions, giving you a lot more control over your HTML. Similarly, you can also use tools like Hotjar to find out on your site where your users are using your site and what works for them. Performing a really close analysis is essential to decreasing your DOM size. A large DOM size can negatively affect your site's performance and increase the page load time. You should take this time to take a few steps to simplify your HTML page and get rid of any unwanted elements. So start by checking your DOM size tree, eliminate any unnecessary nodes. That way you'll be able to ensure that the DOM size on your website is optimized for great UX and improve your core web vitals. Another warning that tends to come up is to minify JavaScript and minify CSS and HTML. So when you minify your website's CSS, HTML, and JavaScript files, you're basically shaving some valuable time off your site's page load speed. It's a small amount, but when it comes to the speed of your website, any little bit of time saving can help. How fast your site loads is really important for first-time visitors, but it's also important for moving up in search engine rankings. So the term minify is a programming term that describes the process of removing unnecessary characters in the source code, and this can be things like white space, line breaks, comments, block delimiters, which are very useful for humans but unnecessary for machines. So we minify the files of a website containing a CSS, HTML, and JavaScript code so your web browser can read them faster. So there's lots of online tools you can use if you want to minify your own code. So if you have custom code that you're adding to the site, there's lots of online tools you can use to compress it. Tools like htmlcompressor.com is really easy to use. You just copy in the code, paste in the code that you have here, and then you want to click on compress to actually compress the file. And it'll show you how much it's saved as well. You can also use different plugins as well to minify your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's probably the easiest way to minify your HTML as well is to use a plugin. There's lots of plugins out there that will do the job, but some good ones out there are the Auto Optimize plugin. So it's a really popular plugin to minify your code, and it's popular because it's very easy to use and is a very has lots of powerful performance features. It can combine scripts, minify, and cache your code. As a bonus, you have additional options for optimizing Google fonts and images and lots more. So you can download the plugin for free from the WordPress directory, and then just upload it. And then all you need to do is in the optimize settings, decide which settings you want to actually optimize. So for example, so you can decide if you want to just minimize the CSS, JavaScript, or HTML, depending on what the error is that you get. Sometimes it's just to minify CSS, sometimes it's just to minify the HTML, but you essentially do that and save changes and empty your cache as well. You can also click the Show Advanced Settings to customize how you want your code to be optimized as well. So if you want faster page load times and better performance scores, you'll want to make sure that your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files are minified. Again, there's loads of online tools available, but you can also use powerful plugins like Auto Optimize to help automatically streamline that code for you. Finally then, another really common error that we see a lot with WordPress performance issues is to reduce the initial server response time. So reducing your initial server response time basically just means that you have an optimized website. It essentially means how long it takes for a device to receive a response from a server after an HTTP request. And this is typically measured by time to first byte, or TTFB. TTFB is the time span between the moment you first navigate to a web page and when its contents displayed on your screen. In other words, the measurement tracks how quickly a web server responds after a request is made from the user's browser. So server response time is really important for your WordPress website because it falls into one of the most important factors for user experience. And most importantly, it can affect your site's bounce rate, so essentially the percentage of visitors that leave your site after visiting only one page. The bounce rate for pages loading within 2 seconds is around 9%, and after just 3 seconds though, the statistic jumps all the way to 38%. So website performance is directly tied to bounce rate. If your server response time is slow, your visitors will be left waiting for your website content, and this delay can lead to a lot of frustration, impatience, and ultimately lead users to abandoning your site. So therefore, server response time can affect your SEO. So Google considers site speed as a very essential element when ranking content on its search engine results page. And if your website takes too long to load, you risk a drop in rankings. So slow server response time can be a factors of what we've seen before, so for example, not optimizing your images, an excessive DOM size, and minifying your code. But another really common issue could be ineffective web hosting. So making sure that the web host that you have is fast and reliable is really important. There are lots of hosting companies available for WordPress sites, but they aren't all equal when it comes to page speed. Some hosts offer minimal support or rely too heavily on shared server resources, which can cause slow load times. To have the fastest WordPress site possible, consider choosing a hosting provider that prioritizes performance and high availability. There's lots of hosting providers out there. We've mentioned some before, but for example, Bluehost is one of them. Bluehost is one of the oldest web hosts around. Bluehost is also a really large brand name when it comes to WordPress hosting. You can see here that they've got even a dedicated section for their website hosting, managed hosting, things like that. With Bluehost, they're very good when it comes to making sure that if you have a website that you know will get a lot of traffic, it helps remove sort of any possibility of the website becoming slow due to that traffic. They're also have a 24/7 expert support. So if you ever need to either phone them, email them, live chat, it all comes within your hosting package as well. For small businesses, they are rated number 1. On top of that, they are offering sort of WordPress beginner users an exclusive 63% off discount or 70% off discount for new online store plans as well. And they also come with the free site builder with templates as well. You can see on the website, they've got different sort of pricing and plans. If you click into pricing and plans here, you can see what they kind of offer in terms of hosting, dedicated hosting for certain plans as well, and their online store. If you go into WordPress and click on WordPress hosting here, you can see a bit more as well. This is their kind of pricing plans for WordPress hosting, and you would pick one that basically suits your needs as well. So their billing cycles go for 12 months or 36 months, so you can switch between the toggles to see what you're paying for depending on what billing cycle you've selected. For 12 months, so like yearly, you've got the basic, plus, choice plus, and pro. With all of them apart from the basic, you get free hosting. You get the hosting for an unlimited amount of websites. So with the basic, you just get the hosting for one website, whereas if you have multiple, then maybe one of the plus, choice plus, or pro would be better. So you can see what they're ideal for. The plus is better for for small businesses. Then you've got one for growing businesses and one for high traffic blog and businesses as well. With the main differences between all of them, so obviously the number of websites that you can host with, and then you've got the different storage sizes for each of your websites. So depending on how big your site is, things like websites with e-commerce built in onto it, high traffic, then you want to look at ones with a higher sort of gigabyte storage. If you have a basic sort of brochure build website, then the 10 GB storage should be enough. But again, the storage kind of depends on your own website needs. They all come with sort of custom themes, and they all come with the 24/7 customer support as well. In terms of the other things that they include, so all of them include the free domain for 1 year. So if you don't have a domain already, you can buy one through Bluehost, and the first year of that domain will be free, and then you would pay for the years after that. You get a free CDN included and a free SSL certificate as well. You also get, with the Choice Plus and the Pro, you get free domain privacy. And domain privacy is a service offered by quite a different number of domain registrars, but basically when a user buys privacy from a company, they replace the user's information in the whois document with the information of a forwarding service. It just adds a few more layers of protection against spamming, data theft, and like things like that. The other things that you get is free automated backup. This is within the Choice Plus and the Pro as well. And you can see with the Pro tools as well, you've got multi-site management. So if you have a multi-site, Bluehost do offer management for that specifically. You also get access to a staging site if you feel like this is some of your sites will have a need for that. If you're constantly making edits to your site, it's always better to kind of do them on a staging site and then push those edits live. And then you've got performance insights, and then you've got plugins collections as well with all of these So depending on the size of your business and your budget, it might be that basic would be enough, or choice plus. Obviously, that's the one that's recommended. And also depending on what billing cycle you go for. So you've got the 12 months and you've got the 36 months. Obviously, with the 36 months, there is a little bit more savings in that. But it's up to you basically how you want to do all that. If you click on compare plans, you can see you've got a basic table view of what the differences between all of them are and what you're missing and what you're getting in terms of some of the payment plans as well. With Bluehost, it's really good because they have 24/7 WordPress hosting support. So if there is anything that's causing issues hosting-wise on your site, the Bluehost are on hand and equipped to give you any kind of support, and it's either by call or you can do a live chat. So it's really important, especially if hosting something that you're new to and you're not sure anything about that. It's important that the hosting provider that you choose is available and equipped to give you that support whenever you need it. Another really important feature of Bluehost is that not only does it have managed sort of WordPress hosting, it also has WooCommerce hosting. So sites that have WooCommerce, so any kind of e-commerce site, would require a bit more resources and maybe a bit more support as well, because there's just a lot more going on. So Bluehost have their own kind of plans as well for WooCommerce plugins and WooCommerce enabled sites. And you can see they go for 1 month, 12 month, or 6 months, 36 months. And you can see what you get with all of them as well. You get your top features, you get website analytics, you get more storage, which you would need if you're having orders being placed on your site constantly. You also get the free SSL and Yoast as well. Yoast being the SEO optimization plugin. And then you've also got extra things like product search and filtering that you can add to your website. You can also add things like wish lists and bookings and appointments as well to your website. Powered by YITH. So this is just a third-party plugin provider for WordPress, basically, that gives you additional features to enhance the WordPress on your site, or the WooCommerce on your site. Additional e-commerce features that you have are the daily backups. You've got automated WordPress updates, and you've got secure online payments and unlimited products. And then with the online store and the marketplace, you get basically multi-channel inventory, which means basically if you're wanting to sell not just on your website, but maybe you also want to sell on things like Amazon, Etsy, any other third-party platforms, the Bluehost, this plan here, the online store marketplace, will help you sort of sell across those stores as well. So if you know that that's something that is suitable for your website and something that you're wanting to do, then one of these plans with Bluehost might be the best option for you. What's also really good about Bluehost is that they have a blog and resource section as well. This isn't just for WordPress websites, but they've got blogs for any kinds of website that you're wanting to build, and how to optimize your site as well. So they've got a range of sort of resources that you can go through and improve your site in any way that you need to. And obviously, if there's any issues that you're having with any part of your hosting or on your site, the chat feature is just here. All you would need to do is just select the plan that you want and then pay for the plan, and then your site will be hosted essentially with Bluehost. And any issues, obviously, you've got the support chat to help you with that as well. Another hosting provider that's very popular and common for WordPress websites is SiteGround. SiteGround provide really unique sort of in-house WordPress speed and security solutions to make your site as fast as possible and as secure as possible. They have really good 24/7 customer support, which is why they're an official WordPress recommended hosting provider. With SiteGround, some other features include automatic WordPress updates, daily backups, free CDNs, free email, things like that. Free SSL, one-click staging. They also have Git version control as well, which is really popular with developers. All of that is all included with some of their plans on SiteGround. They also feature automatic updates as well. They also are one of the few companies that offer location-specific hosting. They've got 6 different data centers in the US, Europe, Asia, and Australia. So in terms of site speed, that's really good because they'll pick basically a server that's closest to, you know, where your website would be based. On top of this, they also have a 63% discount as well, or up to 75% ultra fast hosting as well. So to see their plans, all you want to do is go into SiteGround website, and you want to go into view plans as well. You can see they've got 3 different plans. They've got Startup, Grow Big, and Go Geek. All of them are offering 75% and a free domain as of right now. You can do, so some of them go for $2.99 a month, $4.99 a month, and $7.49 a month as well, which is slightly cheaper than the Bluehost hosting pricing as of now. Main difference between all of them is the number of websites. So both with the Grow Big and the Go Geek, you get the unlimited websites, so you can use this hosting for a different number of websites. Then you've got the actual web space, so you've got 10 GB, 20 GB, and 40 GB. So depending on which or what kind of website that you have, if you have a basic kind of brochure build website and it's only one website, then maybe the startup plan would work for you. Anything slightly bigger, if you get a lot of traffic as well on your websites, then you might want to go for the Grow Big or Go Geek. Those are the kind of main differences, but all of them include free domain, free SSL, daily backups, enhanced security, 30 days money back, and add collaborators. And some of the additional things that you can get, so for example with the Grow Big, you get the on-demand backup copies. So if you ever make a change to your website that you're not happy about, if you ever need a backup of a website, you get that. You can create a backup for first and then revert to that backup if you need to. So you can get up to 5 on-demand backups at a time with their Grow Big and their Grow Geek packages as well. And then you also get 30% faster PHP with the Go Big and the Go Geek, and you get staging as well with the Go Big. With the Go Geek, you get all of that. You get more web space, and you get more support for if you have more than a certain number, 400,000 visits a month. You get all the extras that you get with Go Geek, but then you also get compatibility with Git as well. So that can be really popular with some of the developers. And you can also white label clients, and that's basically when you register your client's account on the website. Your client won't see the SiteGround logo or name or anywhere, so you can provide sort of white label hosting and make it a bit more professional looking on the back end. So when your client logs in, they just see what they need to. You can get priority support. All of these include support, but with the priority support, they'll just get to you a bit faster. But they all include support. And then you also get sort of higher tier of resources. So this just means you get more resources applied to that website or to your hosting. And this can be good for bigger websites or websites that have e-commerce enabled onto them. And you get free private DNS. This just allows you to choose a custom domain name for your own web servers and name servers. And it's nice because you can sort of brand yourself as if you host the site and not another third party. So it's a kind of a nice thing to have. Similar to Bluehost, so they do have the different site plans. But then it just depends on, you know, your site type, how much support you'd need, how many resources you would need on your website. If you are someone that, if you do have e-commerce, I would go for one of the Grow Big. Better to go for Go Geek, just so you get the more storage space, but you can go for these plans as well. If you click on compare hosting plans, you can see a little bit better what each of these offer. And then but you can always upgrade as well. If you go for the Grow Big and you realize actually you need a little bit more server space, and you want the private DNS or anything like that, then you just upgrade anytime you want, and then you can upgrade to that. You can also downgrade as well. So if you start off with Grow Big and you realize actually you're fine with just the basic, then you can always just go down as well. And then you can see sort of the different hosting plans as well. You can see they do specialize in WordPress hosting and they specialize in WooCommerce hosting. So both Bluehost and SiteGround are really good for if you do have those kinds of websites. Because then you can ensure you've got the appropriate number of resources allocated to each of those. And you've got if you ever need support, you've got capable and on-hand support to give you any information and advice, anything that you need. One of the drawbacks that SiteGround does have over compared to Bluehost is that it doesn't come with a free domain. So if you remember with Bluehost, you get a free domain if you were to purchase one of their plans for a year. So SiteGround doesn't do that, but it does have a lot of other good features, like the customer support, one-click WordPress install. It does also have free website migration. So if you select one of their plans, you can see for a limited time they do have a free site transfer that they'll transfer the site for you for free at no cost. In terms of speed and performance, reliability, you want to make sure that you're picking a hosting provider that accommodates for that, and SiteGround does have a very good sort of performance time. The average load time is always under sort of 500 milliseconds, and things like that. It just doesn't have the free domain, but it does have the free SSL, and you've got the free support as well. Similar to Bluehost, you can see that they also have their own kind of blogs as well, so you can stay updated with the latest news, and it just kind of reassures you that these are a very kind of capable company that are up to date with the latest tech in terms of hosting as well. And you can read through all of these. If there's any of these that you want to implement, if there are any issues, you can always go back to their support and go for anything that they're suggesting. So it's good to know that this is sort of like a company that is trying to always be up to date with those kind of things. So similar to Bluehost, SiteGround also has that as well. If you go into their About Us, you can see the previous clients that they have, and just some testimonials, so you can see sort of who they're kind of hosting and who kind of recommends them, to kind of give you a bit more peace of mind. And some success stories as well. So overall, SiteGround is also a very good kind of hosting provider that do offer specific hosting for their WordPress and WooCommerce users. So it's important that you find one of the hosting providers that are specific to that and can give you support and can give you all of the tools that you need in order to make a good and host a good kind of WordPress or WooCommerce website. Another slight downside of SiteGround is that there is limited storage. So their plans come with a fixed storage. If you look at their plans again, yeah, so there's a limited amount of storage that has, but their storage is quite large. So if you're just starting out, you're most likely not going to need that extra storage. You can see as well they've got different hosting plans for WooCommerce as well. Same kind of pricing and same kind of options, but they do come with e-commerce enabled, and they have different sort of options that way. Bluehost might slightly offer more different plugin options for WooCommerce website. If you go back to Bluehost website and go back to WooCommerce hosting, you can see they've got these kind of extra functionality if you wanted to add bookings and appointments, gift cards, wish lists. If you know those are the type of things that you're going to be adding or already have onto your website, then Bluehost might be a better option. But both are capable of managing and handling WooCommerce websites. It just depends on feature-wise. If you need anything extra, then maybe WooCommerce might be, or Bluehost might be a little bit better in that regard. But SiteGround is also capable as well. You just won't get the kind of extra things that Bluehost offer. But if you don't need those anyway, then it won't really matter. You can go with SiteGround and it's still sort of a good option for you to have. The next option then is DreamHost. So DreamHost has been around for maybe 18 years and it's known for making web hosting very kind of easy. You get your own kind of custom dashboard, and like SiteGround, you get one-click WordPress install. You get automatic WordPress updates, unlimited space, unlimited bandwidth, and free SSDs, which makes your site up to 200% faster. DreamHost powers over 1.5 million WordPress blogs and websites. They are also unofficially recommended WordPress hosting providers, just like SiteGround. They have similar sort of pros and cons of SiteGround and Bluehost. So if you go onto their website and you want to see their pricing, you just go into WordPress here, and then you just want to click on WordPress Basic. And you can see they've got pretty affordable WordPress hosting. They offer more billing cycles in SiteGround and definitely Bluehost, so that you can go for monthly, yearly, or 3 years, and you can see sort of the price plans as well. Obviously, the more the less reoccurring your billing cycle. So, for example, 3 years is going to come out as a lot cheaper. Their billing cycles and their hosting plans are split between sort of WordPress Starter and WordPress Unlimited. So this WordPress Starter is more for shared hosting with entry level price for new sites, including WordPress. The main thing with the WordPress Starter is that it's only hosting for one website, whereas the WordPress Unlimited is for unlimited number of websites. And then you've also, for both of them, you got the free domain included. So that's something that's included with DreamHost, but not included, and SiteGrind, but not included with Bluehost. You get the one-click WordPress install. In fact, WordPress is actually pre-installed, so you don't have to even worry about that. Free domain and free SSL for both types of plans, and you have automatically daily backups. And again, they've got the 3-year, 1-year, and monthly plan, so they're a bit more flexible with their price plan. They also have email as low as $1.67 per month. However, in SiteGrind and Bluehost, it's free, so that's a bit of a con there. So there's no free email. But they also just have free automatic WordPress migrations as well, WordPress website builder, and things like that. You can sort of compare a bit more, and you can see a little bit more of what you get. Both of them, you get the 24/7 ticket support and live chat support. So you are talking to an actual person, and any issues that you're having, that's something that they can help you out with. Neither of them offer kind of like a priority support. So it's the same amount of support as all of them. Unless you go for the 3-year. And again, you get the phone support callbacks as well, live chat support, but there's no kind of priority support as well. But they do have a good sort of 24/7 ticket support system. They are kind of known for their great customer service. And just like SiteGrind, it is an officially recommended WordPress hosting provider. So there is a lot about DreamHost that people kind of, love, and they're a good kind of reliable hosting platform to use. A lot of people who use DreamHost find it to be fast and reliable, and they have so far the most sort of flexible hosting plans in terms of the different billing cycles that they have, even though they only just offered 2. And they've got they're known for their friendly kind of customer support and very capable customer support. Similar to Bluehost and SiteGrind, you can see they've got hosting for WordPress Basic, and they've also got hosting for WooCommerce, and they kind of guarantee sort of good uptime, extreme speed, one-click staging, on-demand backups, and 24/7 expert WordPress and WooCommerce support. So it's good to know that the support that they're offering is specific to WooCommerce and not just WordPress websites in general. You've got different sort of hosting plans, and again, they split between monthly and yearly. You've got DreamPress, DreamPress Plus, and DreamPress Pro. All of them is for the one WordPress website. They all have a free domain included, and you can see how many monthly visitors there are for. All of them have both of them have unmetered bandwidth, but then you've also got 120 GB SSD storage. So that's guaranteed to give you 200% faster performance. If you know you're a high capacity WooCommerce store, there's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of products, then you want to make sure that you get something that has a lot of speed, that offers a lot of speed. And yeah, all of them have the Jetpack also free installed. So it's like a plugin to kind of help you monitor your performance and enhance it, everything as well. Then you've got unlimited CDN, one-click staging. Unlimited CDN is just for DreamPress Plus and Pro. You don't get it with the DreamPress, Basic. But you get the unlimited email, and you also get sort of free automated WordPress migrations as well. So again, it's another hosting company that has specific hosting for WooCommerce. So if you are a WooCommerce website, then you want to make sure that the hosting that you're picking not only is separate and is more specific to WooCommerce website, but that the support that they offer is capable, and you are able to get good support and technical information if you ever need it. Unlike the SiteGrind, is that it doesn't offer sort of multi-channel platforms. So if you wanted to sell to other platforms like Amazon or Etsy, things like that, they don't offer much support for that. So SiteGround might be better if you know that's something that you want to do. So the basic pros of DreamHost is that they are award-winning hosting. They're rated really high in surveys for the reliability and tech support. They do offer a money-back guarantee. So they offer a 97-day money-back guarantee. That means you can cancel your account within 97 days of signing up and get a full refund. There's free domain and privacy, so every DreamHost plan that you buy includes one free domain name registration plus domain privacy, so your contact information isn't made public on the website, on any website. The monthly billing, if you were to choose monthly billing includes no sort of setup fee. And then you've got automatically daily backups as well, so they back up your site daily. However, it's also recommended just for users to set up your own real-time sort of WordPress backups. So that's just using plugins like Updraft or WPL on migration, just so you have your own kind of backups as well. But it's good that there's a hosting company that provides daily backups anyway, so you have that on server support as well. Some of the cons, again, so there's no email, so DreamHost doesn't offer email accounts for the starter plan at least. But you can get it for $165 a month or use an external business email provider. The other thing that is their support isn't immediate. So DreamHost has set times for live chat support and an email-based ticket system. That means it can take you a little bit longer before you get a response. And compared to what SiteGround and Bluehost offer, it's that can be seen as quite a negative. In case there's any real issue, if you're not being seen to immediately, it can be quite frustrating. So it's really important that you know that if you are someone that kind of is new to hosting, doesn't have a lot of technical background, that you are picking a hosting provider that has 24/7 support and quick and fast hosting support. So if anything does go wrong, there is someone on hand to help you out with that. So yeah, that's one of the I would say major cons of DreamHost, is that it's not immediate. In terms of performance test, for speed and stress tests, DreamHost ranks quite highly. Again, with the DreamPress Pro, you get that 120 GB SSD, which guarantees 200% faster site speed times. The way their support and customer service works is they offer the 24/7 email support via ticket system. So you can open a request for support through your DreamHost account dashboard. But they also offer live chat support. But again, it's between the hours of 5:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m., I think, Pacific time. So it's not as 24/7 as their ticket, and also the way other hosting providers would be. But you do get that option. You can also request a callback, but it comes with an additional kind of fee. The live chat and phone support can be useful for simple questions. But if anything with more complicated shows up, then users are kind of directly to open a support ticket anyway. A lot of reviews mention the quality of the support, though some reviewers are frustrated by not having access to immediate phone support. So if you're someone that you know will need to talk to someone or will need immediate phone support, then maybe DreamHost might not be the best option just because of that. But they do have dedicated hosting for WooCommerce and WordPress. They're very reliable in terms of speed and stress. So it is a good kind of platform to have. And again, it's an officially recommended WordPress hosting provider. Another popular WordPress hosting provider is Hostinger. They are slowly becoming well known in the WordPress hosting industry. They offer affordable hosting, 24/7 live chat support, and a good platform to host your website. Hostinger comes with one-click WordPress install, so similar to SiteGround, DreamHost, and Bluehost. And they come with managed automatic updates, enhanced security, free CDN, and things like that. WordPress speed acceleration and free site migration as well is something that's kind of being offered. Similar to SiteGrind, they also offer geolocation-specific hosting with a choice of 7 data centers. So SiteGrind had 6, Hostinger have 7. This includes data centers in the US, Europe, Asia, and South America. They are a very popular hosting provider. They serve over 29 million users in over 178 countries as well. So they are very popular and they are very sort of reliable as well. In terms of the web hosting plans, you can see that they offer 3 different support, web hosting packages. However, unlike the previous hosting plans that we've seen, they only offer it per month as a monthly billing cycle and not so much as a yearly. So you can see you've got the single web hosting, premium web hosting, and business web hosting. So with the single, you just get hosting for one website, but both the premium and the business web hosting, you get it for over 100 websites, so just 100 websites. And the other differences between them is that the amount of storage that you get with them. So you get 50 GB, 100 GB, and 200 GB, depending on which plan that you get. Similar to SiteGrind, so it can be an issue if they offer a limited amount of storage. However, they give you quite big amounts of storage, and if you're just starting out, you're not going to be needing so much storage anyway. So it is a good amount of storage, but it is limited. Then you've also got the free email, but that's only being offered if you get the premium or the business web hosting. All of them come with unlimited free SSL. They all come with managed WordPress hosting, WordPress acceleration. That's to help kind of speed up your site. They all have the website builder as well. Another good few pros that they have is that they all have Git access. The main differences between all of them, though, is just the number of websites, the unlimited database. Neither the web hosting or the single web hosting offer staging. Only the Pro offers staging as well. You can sort of see payment terms here. So they offer quite a lot of things, especially within their basic. Some things that might be a little bit frustrating is that there is only one email account. Other things that they have is weekly backups. They don't have daily backups unless you were to upgrade to the business web hosting, which can seem a bit of a risk. So you can obviously set up your own backups on your site if you use Updraft or all-in-one migration, things like that. However, the server itself will not back up your site every day. It will only back up every week. If you have the premium or the single web hosting plans. If you use the business, then they will do the daily backups. This can be seen as quite a big risk if you're only backing up your site once a week and you don't have any other backups. But they do offer that with the premium web or the business web hosting anyway. So the main pros, I think, for Hostinger would be that they, out of all of the hostings that we've seen so far, they offer the lowest price, albeit it is for monthly pricing only. They do have an offer for the first month, but then it goes back to $2.99 a month once you renew. They also have optimized performance. They are known for really great customer support. And the one-click WordPress install that's similarly offered to the other WordPress hosting providers that we've seen so far. They include a free domain, as long as you pick one of the premium or the business hosting plans, and free SSL on all of their hosting plans. And a really good pro of Hostinger is that they offer the multiple data centers, so similar to SiteGrind, where SiteGrind has 6 data centers. Hostinger has about 7, so that would really help your speed and performance as well. The biggest con I would say is the no daily backups. I think unless you are also doing backups yourself on your site every day, it's a big risk to only be doing backups on a weekly basis if you're going for one of these 2 plans. Unlike the other WordPress hosting providers that we've seen so far, like Bluehost, SiteGrind, and DreamHost, Hostinger only has sort of one set of hosting plans for all hosting or for all WordPress types. So even the e-commerce plans or even the e-commerce website would fall under one of these plans. So they don't have sort of anything specific to cater for e-commerce websites. but they do have sort of the uh, free SSL and really good optimized performance. So it should be enough anyway for your hosting website, for hosting your website, your e-commerce website. However, if you are looking for something that caters a bit more to WooCommerce based sites, then it might be better to go for one of the other hosting providers that we've seen so far. All of the plans have the WordPress hosting for the multiple data centers. So I think the performance, in terms of performance, is still really good. Hostinger is a good hosting provider. It has reliable support and an excellent set of features. So with the plans, you get the single shared hosting plan that includes one website, one email account. It's good for up to approximately 10,000 monthly visits. But again, it doesn't include free domain name. It also doesn't include the unlimited bandwidth that the rest of the plans offer. Premium again just offers a bit more websites that allow you to host 100 email accounts, the SSD storage, and it does include the free domain name and free email and the unlimited bandwidth that the single WordPress doesn't offer. The rest of the plans are more the same. They just offer more of what's already been offered for the premium. The main plan features are the one-click WordPress install, and the WordPress website acceleration, the free SSL, the Git access, and the Cloudflare CDN. They also have 24/7 live chat support, and also each plan gets you access to their custom hosting panel. The C panel is called H panel, and all the common features that you'll find with C panel hosting providers can be found in there. Hostinger provides 24/7 customer support via their live chat, but they don't offer any kind of phone support. Their technical support team are well trained, and they are available to help when it is needed. Their customer success team offers support in English to their global customers, but if you purchase your hosting via one of their local websites, then you have the option to get customer support in the local language as well, something that isn't offered with the other hosting providers. Their customer support team can be very responsive and almost immediate within the response time. A lot of reviews report good customer experience when interacting with the support team. And they're very sort of knowledgeable, and they have a lot of step-by-step tutorials themselves to answer very commonly asked user questions. Overall, the main pros of choosing Hostinger is that they have lower price plans. So it's good for people who are just starting out and just want to test out whether or not website would be good for them. They rank quite highly in performance. Considering the hosting and pricing, the performance and speed is really great, and they have really good customer service, which is a huge help for beginners. There are limitations in the plan. So there's like an entry-level hosting plan, low-level hosting plan. But as your website grows, you can always upgrade to cloud or VPS plans to get rid of those limitations as well. And the main con is that there's no daily backup. Their single and premium plans offer weekly backups. But again, it's always better to kind of make sure if you are using one of their basic plans that only offers weekly price hosting or weekly backups, then I would recommend installing a plugin like Updraft to make sure that you're getting daily updates, even though it is by yourself as well. But other than that, Hostinger is also a really good option if you did want to go over another hosting website as well. Another possible option to kind of get for WordPress hosting is HostGator. So HostGator offer sort of hosts over sort of 10 million domains, and it's also one of the most popular web hosts in the industry. They offer the one-click WordPress installation, uptime guarantees, 24/7 support. So it is a good choice for a website owner. They are probably one of the best web hosting for businesses as well. So you can see they offer sort of WordPress hosting, and you can see the pricing plans here. So there's an offer currently, but they do have introductory offers as well. And they've got 3 different pricing plans for starter, standard, and business. With the starter plan, you only get 1 site to host. Standard plan, you get 2 sites, and then business plan, you get 3 sites. So unlike the other hosting plan providers we've seen, there's a smaller number of websites you can host with, even if you are paying for a more expensive plan. Their pricing is a little bit more expensive compared to the other plans we've seen so far. It's probably one of the highest ones that we've seen so far compared to the other hosting providers that we've seen. They all offer sort of backups as well, 1 GB, 2 GB, and 3 GB. If you click on all plans, you can see a bit more information. All of them, you get the free domain, you get the free email, and you can see how many visits per month each plan would kind of suit. Something that isn't offered by the other plans, by the other hosting providers, but is provided with HostGator, is the 500 Google Ad Spend Match Credit. So essentially, if you spend $500 on Google Ads, HostGator will match that and give you $500 worth of credit to spend on Google Ads. It's important to note that you need to spend the full $500 to get the $500 credit. But that is something, if you know you are going to be spending a lot on Google Ads, then HostGator might be a better option, because no other hosting provider that we've seen so far have offered that. They do offer the 99.9% uptime guarantee, 1-click WordPress installs, and they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee as well. I think the Hostinger was a bit longer, but they had 97 days, but 30 days is also a good amount to kind of see how you deal with the hosting and test out the customer service and things like that. To summarize, so HostGator is very reliable. They're very customer friendly hosting service, and their 24/7 customer support is reviewed as among one of the best. So it is a good sort of hosting provider for WordPress specific websites. So the pros would be sort of like the very reliable hosting. It guarantees an uptime of 99.9%. So if you experience downtime below that, then you'll get back 1 month credit on your account. So they're very dedicated to making sure that your site is always up and running. They do offer a generous money back guarantee, and they have flexible billing periods as well. So you can choose between monthly and yearly. Longer billing periods obviously will get you more savings. They also offer free migration as well. So HostGator offer free migration services with all their new accounts. Their team will kind of transfer your website for you at no extra cost during the first 30 days of signing up, so you don't have to worry about migrating your site either. The cons mainly would be that they are a higher monthly pricing than most. Their monthly pricing is quite higher. You can choose their annual plans, as they do offer the money back guarantee, but again, it's a lot higher than what we've seen so far. They also have a lot of upselling, so you might see additional services like automated backups, advanced functionality. Make sure they're unchecked. If you don't need them right away, you can always add them for later when you need them. Their plan includes shared hosting, VPS hosting, cloud hosting, reseller hosting, and dedicated hosting. They also offer hosting for other website builder and app platforms like Joomla and Magento, but their main offering is shared WordPress hosting, and it's where most users would be using their platform. The main good features is that they have the one install WordPress with 1-click installer, free SSL, free email accounts, and 24/7 customer support, and the 99.9% uptime guarantee. So HostGator do offer a variety of hosting plans that fit all budgets and requirements, and they're also very user friendly. It's important that a hosting provider that you pick has good customer service, which HostGator has. They have a lot of good reviews. They are slightly higher, but they do offer a lot for what they are selling for. So depending on your price point, there are lots of factors to consider. you need to consider what's most important to you. So if customer service is definitely something that's important, then you want to make sure you pick a hosting provider like Bluehost or SiteGround that are kind of known for their customer service, and they have 24/7 customer service. And whereas DreamHost has been known to be a little bit slow. If you like the idea of having a hosting provider to have multiple data centers, and something like SiteGround or Hostinger would be really good as well. Yeah, it's a lot to kind of consider. As long as you know what's important to you, then you can sort of decipher between that which hosting plan would suit you the best, and you can kind of go from there. Top 3 choices would be the Bluehost, SiteGround, and DreamHost. They probably host quite a lot of WordPress website installs, and they offer a lot of support as well, albeit DreamHost is a little bit slower. But all of them are reliable, all of them have performed well, and all of them have good customer service in terms of very knowledgeable customer service, and very easy to kind of understand guides as well. So it's up to you kind of which hosting provider you want to go for, and what your limitations are, whether that's a budget thing, whether you don't need certain features, and whether you do need certain features. It's good to kind of see what each hosting platform offers, and then kind of go from there, which one that you prefer. Other hosting providers that also offer fast and reliable hosting would be like Ionis. All their plans include SSL certificates, 99.9% uptime, and they have lots of like themes to choose from if you're just starting to build out your website. Even things like, for example, GoDaddy offer like complete hosting solutions for any website. So they offer sort of web hosting with a free domain as well. For any kind of website, including WordPress as well. They have fast loading times, they have support for 24/7 on the phone and toll free, and things like that. So yeah, things to just kind of consider are your price point, what features that are important to you. Do you need a hosting provider that offers separate and more in-depth hosting for separate and more uniquely focused on like WooCommerce website as opposed to anything else? So you can see overall there's a lot of different hosting options out there, a lot of good ones specifically for WordPress, and if your server is unreliable, and you know that you need to upgrade your hosting, then there's lots of hosting providers out there that specialize in WordPress hosting, so you know that you're in sort of reliable hands when it comes to your hosting provider knowing how to manage a WordPress site and how to host a WordPress site. And again, your hosting provider has a direct effect on your load time, which then has a direct effect on your SEO. So overall, GTmetrix is a really good tool to use in order to analyze your performance. Those are just some of the common issues that can happen, that can cause a low score on GTmetrix. A lot of them can be fixed easily, whether that's with plugins or online tools like Photoshop for your images, an HTML compressor for your code. And sometimes it's a bit more complex when it comes to, for example, switching over your hosting or contacting your hosting provider for anything else. I would recommend sort of tackling the issues that are serious first, and the issues that you can handle, and see how much of a difference that makes, and kind of go from there. But overall, it's definitely a tool that you want to think about using more often, testing your site for performance issues using GTmetrix to continue sort of improve and update your site.